this is going to be a good night. Don't know why. I can feel all of the spirits around me. Hi, I'm Brenda Power, Medicine Woman. And it is a hot night in South Australia. The spirits are around. There is a lot of information coming through. Most of you are not realizing that there is you end and others begin. What does that mean? You can be happy-go-lucky and then all of a sudden you just feel like shit. Why would you do that? And it wasn't even your thoughts. Think about it. Thoughts become things, but they weren't your thoughts. Two things. So like I said, you're happy-go-lucky and all of a sudden you're feeling like shit. And thoughts become things, but my thoughts were good, I swear, and I'm in a good space. Why would I? Number one, your body. Your body has a program. So if you don't live up that program, then the body is going to say, you're off schedule. And then send out the signal so that you would get back on target of feeling like shit because you programmed yourself that you're supposed to feel like shit at least 70% of the day. It's been a good day, so you need to reprogram those. What's another reason? Well, where do you begin and others end? Yeah, certain emotions. When people, not all, it'll be some people that you'll vibrate with in your entanglement cords, whether you're 10,000 miles away or across the street or in the next room. But if you are having unfinished business with certain words, emotions, guess what? All of a sudden you're like, I'm pissed and I don't know why. And that's easy because the energy, the way we used to create 3D world, and now we're going into the fourth and the fifth, and it is asking you to start looking inward, start saying, hey, wait a minute. It's not about blaming, but this is not how I want to act. And you start cleaning up your crap, deciding I don't want this. They're not flaws. You just don't want to be that way anymore. So I was at the computer, and there was all this noise, and all of a sudden, my head started to hurt, and I started getting frustrated, and I said, stop. Who am I picking up? I heard nothing. Okay, fine. What am I picking up? And I was picking up aggression, and I'm like, where from? And then all of a sudden, it was like, oh, yeah. So 10,000 miles away, somebody I know is going through a hardship. And some people will say, well, isn't that like a mother-daughter thing? Or, but it can be anything. You can do it with people. You can do it with strangers. You can do it because your heart's open. You can do it because it's emotions. But it's learning our own energies. And most people don't realize that you have to own your own energy. I mean, you have to be responsible for the energy you bring into the room. Jill Bolte Taylor, I think it's a stroke of luck. She was a neurosurgeon and had a stroke. And then she was able to heal from the inside out. Really bad stroke. And now she walks and talks like you and I. But who she was more left brain. And who she is now is more right brain. More open, more in the heart, more into the yin, more into being intuitive. And that experienced her, changed her greatly. It was remarkable. But she, as she was recovering, could feel when people would walk in the room, smile away, and yet she could feel what's in their heart. She could feel what's on their mind. And people say, well, you can read minds. It's not that. Your shit just hangs out in your aura. Thoughts create a vibration without realizing it. You all have this ability. I just happen to tune in. Other people haven't. And you are asked, because the changing of the times is to know when you're off and it's not yours. Know when it's a reaction to other people's frequencies. knowing what to do about it. Majority of the people say it's too late. They've been with this person for too long and they have to put up with all of this. And no, it's never too late to know who you are and your authentic self. And it's never too late to return to health. Some people I have bumped into have a great amount of sickness in their physical body, and their programs tell me what it is that they're repeating, what they're doing. I had one lady, she says, I don't even know where to begin. You all talk foreign to me. And I'm like, that's because it's meant to talk to your soul. Most people don't even know what a soul is. There's a lot to need to be learned out there. And I've lost a lot of family because, they're stuck in that belief and generation that it's supposed to sound and be a certain way. And if you don't follow it, something bad's going to happen. And the more you begin to dissolve or resolve those chemical peptides of emotions that are tied to how you're supposed to think, feel, and act, the more you begin to find yourself. That's the important part, is to find yourself. So the beauty of you women, like all women that are here, is that you're going to get a card. So I'm just going to ask Spirit, what is it that you all want? You want time, eh? This deck is calling for you guys. Energy Oracle Cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. What is the overall thing? I used to teach class, Empowerment Through Enlightenment, and I would stand up in front of the room and I would look and feel what the main topic was supposed to be, and it would be like in a matter of minutes. And it would always hit me through the heart, and I could feel it. And I'm like, the majority of it was so strong. But being that you all are out there, and I have to be open to having people come on. And look at that. I'm loving it. Okay, ready? Let's find out what this is about. You don't have to take it for face value. Either it fits or it don't. The Thinking Man, number 46. The Thinking Man. Male of wisdom or understanding. This card shows a man standing before an archway, gazing at the crystal in his hand. He is thoughtful and reflective, representing the potential presence of a teacher. In your life now, or about to arrive soon, this teacher will appear. This person may be there to educate you in the finer details of your chosen direction, or maybe there's an assist you in some specific spiritual, mental, or emotional pursuits. The card is telling you to pay attention, for this could lead to great strides in personal and professional growth. Well, I think all of us would love to grow personally. The man may also be a love interest coming your way, or perhaps just a new male friend. But to be on the lookout for this guide in the physical form and be open to the information. Learn what you can. A disciple, a new disciple techniques, a new discipline, course of study, or healing practice could change your life forever. So when the teacher's ready, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. This is what that card reminds me of. And every day I would say thank you for the teacher. And thank you for the personal growth. And thank you with grace and ease. Remember that last one, grace and ease. So as I began to allow myself to be in As I allowed myself to begin, it was okay every day. And then I was sitting in a doctor's office, and this people were acting things out in front of me. And I could have just ignored it. I could have, been just human. But spiritually speaking, I stood back and I was looking at how the energy of people were fighting back and forth, and how shaming was important to control the woman. And then she used it on her child. And I'm like, well, okay. So I put those notes, I put it on my shelf. And when you guys are with me, you'll begin to put things on the shelf. You'll learn my language. So then I asked Spirit, okay, what is love? And I got to learn in many different avenues. But one time I was in the restaurant. It wasn't a fancy place, but people were here and there. And my kids were great kids. And, they were quiet and they were playing. And previously they had gotten a toy from someplace. And I said, okay, wait until we get home. And then they were playing so nicely. I said, you know what? I'm going to reward you because of your good behavior. And so I gave them their toy, and we opened it up, and they're trying to play. And they were laughing a little too hard, apparently, for the person I was with. And I'm like, all hear, stop, don't judge, look, watch. And I heard, teacher. I'm watching, and then all of a sudden I had asked, what is love? Well, you have to find out what it isn't first. And the look that this person gave to my kids was, well, if you love me, you better behave. And I'm like, oh my God. And then the shaming. And I'm like, no. There's got to be another way to do this for your children besides pass that on. I looked around and they did nothing wrong. I looked around, nobody even gave two hoots about the fact that they were playing quietly. They weren't running around, they weren't screaming, they weren't doing anything like that. And the question is, what is love? What is love? We have gotten to the point where love is love equals hate. Love equals fear. Love equals punishment. Love equals guilt. And majority of the relationships that certain generations have passed on and continue is love me or else. If you love me, you would do this. And I was like, oh my gosh, we've really got to break this within ourselves. And this one person I was watching one time, you could see the love. It was pretty. And then all of a sudden, there was just, she didn't do what that person wanted. And they threw a tantrum. Not the person, but the other one. And, oh, wow, it was defenses up. Let's see what's going to happen. Maybe the person's going to be attacking. You could really watch this. And the next thing you know, they were hurting the person that loves them deeply. And I could just see the hurt. I mean, it was just like arrows going right through their heart. And I get it. When our emotions get so riled up, we don't know what to do with them. We haven't learned a healthy way, found a healthy way to cope, manage, deal, pacify with those emotions. And when you begin to feel what love isn't, and you start to break down those negative emotions that are tied to love, then the feeling of knowing what love is, oh my God, your heart starts to open. You're changing those things about yourself. And you look out and you see that it's a catalog of life. I don't want to do that anymore. And I think it was Andy Cohen in Love Unconditionally, about how to raise your children. And I really began to be mindful of the way that I would react I'd be mindful. And as like you're trying to get stuff done and kids come screaming at you with joy and you want them to be quiet, and then all of a sudden you scream at them. And that one hit me hard. And I said, I don't want to do that. Now, again, you're not judging anyone. You're looking at what it is you no longer want to do that's considered love. When you start breaking down the barriers of love equals this. Love equals meaning you're supposed to be hit in the face. Love equals, no. Love is not really meant to hurt. When someone dies, your love doesn't get to go to that person anymore, not to the physical self. And that's where grief comes in. And I transformed a lot of grief in my life. And when I began to educate myself about what is love, what is the other side, what does that mean, I wasn't in as much pain that I normally would have been. I began to hear the souls of the people. And I had to come to terms with, the soul knows what is perfect for that individual. We try so hard to hang on to things. And when you hear when someone's dying and their soul is ready to go, and they're not ready to go, or you're not ready to let them go, it's important to begin to learn how to use tools. Long-term illness helps you really deal with letting that person you love go. Strangely enough, it does. And when you begin to let go of that particular person, you notice that their behavior is starting to grind on you, but yet you're like, okay, you're trying so hard to muster through all this because you know that your love is so good. Your love is there, but it actually helps prepare you to let them go, because sometimes we can't let go. Sudden death, oh my God. I thought that was hard. It took me 2 years to recover from that. But when you know someone that you love, they cannot be saved. And it is not cancer. My sister was dying. She had cancer. She healed from it. And then she got in a car accident, and then the sternum had broken. And because her body never got to recover from the lung chemo and all this other stuff, they couldn't do anything for her. So they put her to sleep, and then they tried to see if her body would repair. And so after so many days, not long enough in my opinion, they woke her up and told her that there's nothing they can do and that she's prepared to die. Oh my God, that's worse. And you get to say goodbye, right? Oh, I never got to, but that one was worse. And when we get caught up in grief, we forget what love is. And when you begin to heal from all that grief and all of the pain and all the loss and all of that, then all of a sudden your heart opens up again, and then you can feel that love and feel that joy. But it takes time. And I used to attach myself to people that I wanted them to love me, but their love was, you have to be the way I want you to be. And if not, I get to criticize you. I get to do this to you. And it's like I would put up with it because I figured that's what love was. And then when I thought, no, not for me. And then, and it's great to have movies so you can see. And you will hear me quote it. What about Steve? There is your family out there. It may not be blood, but you got loved ones out there. And when you begin to heal the pain that you have attached, and you begin to heal the love equals that I have to be abused, or love equals that I have to put up with a narcissist or whatever, And you begin to transform why you attracted him in. You don't realize that your soul is responsible because of your soul contract of why certain things happen. You get to choose as you get to experience life again. How? You know, and then what I tell people is, look, as you come in and the thing that you're working on your soul level and you don't see it, check, you've passed. But the moment you react in a negative manner, get hurt, then you have more work to do. And as the woman said, well, how do you even begin? Well, you begin taking those baby steps of beginning to learn what spirituality is. You learn that you are an emotional being. You are a mental being. You are a program. Life is just an illusion. That can be a hard one for everybody to grasp. But as you begin to understand what is reality, and I'm sure a lot of you watched What the Bleep Do We Know? Highly recommend it. You begin to notice that there is more to life. The more education you get about the metaphysics of life, the more you become more spiritual, the more you become more stable, the more you become more spiritual human. You're not just out there floating in the wind like you're a human and that's it, and get treated like an object instead of love. Okay? So it's important. It's whatever you want this to be. It's whatever you want life to be. You just have to realize that when you begin to awaken, you don't have to be stuck with that a lot in life. You know, your lot that was given to you. You begin to wake up. You begin to say, no more, I don't need my soul insulted. The hardest part is to say no and stand up for yourself. The hardest part is to walk away and knowing that they're going to ridicule you, that they're going to hurt you in some form. And again, maybe not. Depends. It's not easy to be strong, but you can be if you have tools. So, you know, because ever since I got here, well, I should say almost 2 years before I got here, my path switch changed, and everything that I knew, or I thought I knew, completely changed, and starting over. Used to love there was a program called Starting Over. And how would you start over? Before healing tools, you had to face your shit. And a lot of it was pain and suffering. Think about it. How do you put up with your pain? How do you put up with your life? And it's not as bad as you think it is when you begin to go down this track, and you don't have to do it alone. You end up going down a road that begins to look familiar to you, even though you have no idea because you've never taken it before. Your soul can begin to guide you. I mean, I thought I had to endure a lot of stuff just so I could learn my lesson. That one was very tricky because it took me a while to realize that I had so many arrested developments, and I didn't develop in certain areas. And that's where the lesson kept repeating. And I would just be the stuck program repeating. And I always felt like I was hitting this brick wall. And I thought, why can't I seem to get over it? I mean, I practiced, here they come. I practiced, I did things, I don't get it. And then I realized what stopped it was when you run parallel timelines of different ages that you are. Believe it or not, even your future self. We're standing back looking at our younger self, and our future self is standing back looking at us right now. Because everything's a spiral. I think it's quite unique. And then learning how to unwind. Okay, how do you want to put it? Problems. Problems are not what you think they are. Because when you begin to realize that there's an answer, but you were never taught to find it. I have some people that only learned how to maneuver other people to give them the answer instead of them looking for the answer. Does that make sense? Oh, I want so much to teach. I want to be able to hear your voices. I wanted to be able to just take this whole room and to be able to take it to the next level.